Well, I'm back on the road. I stopped in Popayan last night, and it's not Papa John's. Who knows why? But anyway, made the deal of the century. I stayed in this hotel right here in the gas station, $8 a night with hot water, which is kind of rare in Colombia to find a hotel with hot water. So I was happy about that. Today I've got about a 250 kilometer ride to the next town. So it's going to be a lot of driving. If I find a place to fly this afternoon, I'll stop and I'll fly, but I'm not sure. You can tell I'm in the mountains right now, and I don't know how long I'm going to be in the mountains. So we'll see what's between here and pretty close to the Ecuadorian border. Anyway, I'm going to get on the road, and first I'm going to check the oil leak, make sure I have oil, and then we'll head out. I checked the oil on the bike, and the oil is fine. I was worried I had a leak because it sounded like, or it looked like something was burning on the front end, but it's not oil, so that's good. Pretty windy road this is, but it's beautiful. Now, if you've been watching the series for a while, you know that I started with a trailer, and since then I've been able to pack everything on the back of the bike because the trailer was problematic at best. But there are a few problems with packing everything on the back of the bike, and that is that there is a crap ton of weight on the back. And although I'm able to go much faster and cover more miles, it actually wears me out a little bit more because the balance of the bike is kind of tough. The hardest part is parking the bike. I have to have a 2 to 3% grade. Otherwise, I can't park the bike. I can't park it on level ground because the kickstand won't go down because there's so much weight on it. So I have to have a slight grade, and that grade has to go towards the kickstand. If it's too much, then the bike will fall over because the kickstand can barely keep the weight on it. And if it's too little, then the kickstand won't go down and it'll actually fall the other direction. So there's a little bit of tricks to parking the bike, especially when I have to take the panniers off, because I have to take the right one off first and then the left one, otherwise the bike will fall over. Fortunately, I haven't had the problem of the bike falling over yet, except for when I went paragliding with Ruben about a month and a half ago, because I had to go through a river, and the river was full of sand, and I dropped the bike, and it was difficult picking it back up. The good thing is that I didn't have the paramotor on the back at that time, so I could actually do it. Now that I have the paramotor on the back, I don't actually know if I could pick up the bike. I'd have to take the panniers off and probably the paramotor as well, or at least the paramotor first. The other issue is that if I have too much gas in the paramotor, because that weight is so high up on the back, then it becomes even more problematic. And right now I have about a half a tank, so it's about as much as I'll push putting a paramotor on without emptying the gas tank, because gasoline weighs a lot, especially when it's that high on the back. And starting off, I have to be careful too, because the front end is so light and it wants to lift up off the ground, and the last thing I want to do is pull a wheelie with this much weight on the back. But all in all, much better than the trailer. Much better than the trailer. I must say I'm fairly impressed by how beautiful southern Colombia is. I'm excited about getting to Ecuador because I hear Ecuador is just fabulously beautiful. As I'm going through these valleys, I'm noticing a lot of coca farms, so you kind of know what that means. So far I've hit a ton of construction, but I'm so thankful I'm on a motorcycle so I don't have to wait in line at these long construction stop points, because some of them are like a half an hour wait before you can go. So it's nice having a motorcycle to be able to get around all that. And usually the flag people wave you through if you're a motorcycle, because you can just go around the construction workers fairly easy where you can't with a car. And outside of hitting the construction zones, I haven't seen a whole lot of cars, so I kind of have the highway to myself. During construction, though, I see huge lines of trucks like these guys here. But outside of that, I don't see a whole lot of traffic today, which is nice. It means I can go a little bit faster and kind of enjoy the road a little bit more. Huh? Isn't this gorgeous? Isn't this a beautiful day for a drive? Highway to myself? Just enjoying the southern Colombian atmosphere? This is brilliant. This is amazing. So happy to be out here today. I have the best office in the world. Look at this. Look at my desk. How brilliant is this, huh? How wonderful is this? Alright, we're heading down into a valley now, and I'm hoping that this valley offers some places to fly, because we've been in the mountains now for, I don't know, about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but coming down into a valley, I'm thinking we might be able to find some place to fly if we're lucky. Now, I don't know what the wind is. I haven't really looked at the weather very much, just peeking up at the clouds, and it looks okay. The wind is tough, so normally people who fly paramotors use an app to tell them wind speed and if there's any winds aloft, you know, because you want to make sure you're not going through shears and things like that. Unfortunately, I do not have any apps here that I can rely on. None of them work. None of them are accurate, including Windy, which is pretty much a global map of all the winds globally. Incredibly inaccurate in this country. I don't know why, but the only time I've been able to rely on an app is at the coast, up at the Caribbean coast. As soon as I get inland, none of those apps are even close to what the predictions are. Their modeling is totally incorrect. So many years ago, there was a guy named Kyle O'Glee. He's still around, and he made some YouTube videos about weather and wind, and I remember as I was learning to fly, I would watch those religiously. So shout out to Kyle for those videos, because I've been relying on that kind of information to guess as to whether or not I can fly, and so far I've been okay choosing when I can and when I can't. So I even went to a fly-in in which Kyle talked about weather and wind and that kind of thing. Huge thanks to him, because without that knowledge now, I wouldn't know, you know, if it was safe to fly or not, or how to judge the wind or anything like that. The landscape has dramatically changed. You can see the cactus here, and of course the temperature rose quite a bit as we're coming down into the valley. It looks like we're still like in a wedge between a bunch of mountains, though. Beautiful clouds coming down off of the mountains over there. Quite a drastic change in the last hour. I see more cactus than I see trees now. This country definitely has a bunch to offer when it comes to different landscapes, that's for sure. It's been a great ride today. The only thing I'm missing now is just to be able to find someplace to fly. I'm just looking for some sort of field or something I can use without power lines in it. There might be a town up here that I can find a hotel and find a field. Anyway, that's the goal. That's always the goal. A new place and a new place to fly. But look at these cactus. They're huge. They're kind of like a prickly pear, but they're not a prickly pear. The fruit on them looks very similar, but a lot more orange than a prickly pear would be. Also, they're blooming rather early. course, we're so close to the equator, maybe it kind of doesn't matter. Maybe they bloom all year round, I don't know. This reminds me a lot of northern Arizona, like just above the Phoenix area, right in there, or kind of down by Sierra Vista. It looks a lot like that too, the mountains right by Sierra Vista. Not enough room to fly out of that gas station. Well, I ended up in the mountains again, and I was really hoping that the town I was going to come down into would just be in the plains, but it looks like there's quite a bit more mountains to go through yet. And all of these mountains, there's signs everywhere about rock slides. And you can see remnants of rock slides all over the place. It looks like they have rock slides quite often. But the cliff sides are beautiful. I keep running into these little tiny towns, and these little tiny towns have, like, you'll see rocks on the side that people use as decoration from the rock slides. And there's a lot of times where half of the road is full of rocks from a rock slide. So I don't know, maybe every time it rains they have a rock slide here. It looks like it's gonna have a rock slide at any given point, you know. So far I haven't been able to find a place to fly, because when we went down where the cactus was, there was just no way to fly down there. There was no place to stay, no place to unpack the gear, and I really didn't spend a whole lot of time looking for a field, although I probably could have found one, because unpacking the bike takes an hour, packing it back up takes well over an hour, so I need a hotel close to where I'm gonna fly. Wow, look at these mountains, they're amazing. Oh, this is a beautiful area. It's crazy windy because it creates a funnel of wind coming through. Coming out of that tunnel back there, it almost blew the bike over with so much wind. But look at how amazing this is. Oh, what a gorgeous ride. I was not expecting this. Definitely not expecting this. I was expecting the plains. Obviously, maybe I should pay attention to the map a little bit more. I don't know. But pleasantly surprised. Obviously can't fly around here, but wow, the view is... oh, it's unbelievable. Wow, look at that, huh? Beautiful day at the office. Beautiful day at the office. Just gorgeous. Well, we only have an hour to go, so we have an hour to find the plains, and I was really hoping this town of Pasto is close to the plains, but I don't know. In front of me all I see is mountains, so we might be stuck in the mountains one more day. Well, obviously my navigation and map skills suck, because not only did we not end up in the plains, we're in like pine trees. We're like way high up in the mountains. I was sure that this town would be in the plains. It looked like the plains from the map, but obviously yeah, I need to brush up on some how to read Google Maps. So it looks like we probably won't fly unless we find a field up here somewhere, but it doesn't look hopeful. But at least we'll get to our destination and we'll get closer to the border, so that's good. At least we're making progress. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to fly, or the chances are very slim. So look, I want to thank you for joining me on this ride today, and I really appreciate all the comments you give me. If you liked the video, of course, you know, it's pretty simple to click the like button, and that helps me out a lot. And what helps me out more is if you just write to me and tell me what you think of the ride, or what you think of this video particularly. Boy, carburetor's definitely noticing the altitude change. Yeah, let me know in the comments below. Just like, I know we didn't get to fly, and I know it wasn't the most exciting video, but let me know your thoughts of this ride. And I thought it was gorgeous. I really did. Long ride, about 6 hours today, but feels good to have the bike back. Glad we're back on track, and thanks for joining me along the ride. Okay, that must be Pasto right there.